For our next stop, we meet up with the Stockbridge-Munsee tribe at their teaching garden and learn of their efforts to provide healthier foods.
My name is Maria. I am the farm manager for the Stockbridge-Munsee Community's tribal farm. So the tribal farm was born out of a strategic tribal plan, and one of those initiatives was food sovereignty and creating greater food access for the community here on the reservation. So currently we are growing on a 6-acre location where we are actively growing food on 4 acres of that. We do use traditional Mohican Three Sisters gardening methods where we grow in a mound, fertilize with fish emulsion as a nod to traditional methods of burying fish in the mounds as a fertilizer. We grow our Lenape blue corn, our Munsee beans, and a Boston marrow squash. Annually, we are providing about 14,000 pounds of food for the community. Our surplus food is distributed to our elder and child care facilities throughout the reservation so that they can get fresher local food right here at the farm. Food that's available, that's fresh right here on the reservation gives people an option to be able to eat healthy. If you're ever traveling through Bowler, Wisconsin, come check out the farm.
Continuing our journey, we head west to the St. Croix Chippewa to gain insight into their efforts to revitalize, protect, and preserve wild rice.
My name's Jeremy Bloomquist. I'm the Land and Water Resource Manager for the St. Croix Chippewa Indians of Wisconsin. I do water monitoring for surface water, wild rice projects, fisheries projects, some forestry. Wild rice is a very important staple of the tribe, and Clam Lake is one of the biggest producers of wild rice. Most of the rice out here on Clam Lake, where it is doing well, is the areas where there's less development. We'll have nearly 300 acres of wild rice on a good year. In the fall, the rice produces a seed, and the seed then falls into the water. It slowly works its way down into the sediment. It'll start to germinate following spring. The plant will grow up to the surface, and then it goes into the floating leaf stage, so the plant will actually float on the surface for a few weeks until it starts to emerge and produce a flower, and then the resulting seed at the end for harvest. We do some reseeding projects every year, try to pick places that either have historically had wild rice or are struggling to have a harvestable crop. We will then go out in a canoe or boat, and we use a rate of approximately 50 pounds per acre, and we'll reseed out on that particular area. That way we have a seed bed that's developed with multiple years worth of seed.
When we add that seed bank, we're helping that lake fill in those areas. Bottom line, reseeding is important for lakes like this that have seen this decline.
Starting in around 2009 on Clam Lake, tribal members started to notice a decline in the wild rice. Studies began to see what the problem was and determined that the common carp were affecting not only the wild rice, but other vegetation in the lake. Their feeding activity was uprooting plants. By 2009, we were down to 80 acres of wild rice remaining from normally 300 acres on Clam Lake. This resulted in the removal of almost 700,000 pounds of carp. In 2015, we started to reseed, and so we started to see rice come back and be able to open the lake back up to harvest again. Restoration is key for us in some of these places, but also protecting and making sure that these other areas are taken care of.
Next, we meet up with the Oneida Nation and learn of their efforts to reintroduce the buffalo, once a staple food for the native people.
My name is Michelle Danforth Anderson, and I'm with the Oneida Nation. The Oneidas, we have been involved in agriculture since the beginning of time. It's actually part of our creation story. So when the Oneidas moved to this territory in 1823, the Oneidas once again cleared land, started to become farmers. And it wasn't until the 1990s when we received our first buffalo. And ever since then, we have been growing, and we have over 150 head at this time. When you actually go and visit the buffalo, it's this really cool feeling. You just see them, and they're very large. So it's like this great feeling of like, wow, look how big they are. We have an overlook, so you get to watch them walk around the field, tend to their younger calves in the spring. And it's just a really nice feeling. It's a really cool place to visit. So when you come to the Buffalo Overlook, it's kind of this neat little place that's just off the side of the road, and you don't want to touch the wires because they are electrified. But it is a really cool place to actually go up to the overlook, see the buffalo out in the fields, and it's kind of really cool because there's just these like really cool, majestic animals. And the thing about them is that buffalo are wild. One of the very important things for us is about how we care for animals. So we have invested a lot of money into infrastructure so that they can go to different fields. So you can actually take your car and actually just drive right down the road and they might be on the corner lot. So it's really cool to see the buffalo out in the fields. If you are driving around the Green Bay area, the Buffalo Overlook is a must-see. It is free. It's literally a couple miles from Green Bay and you won't be disappointed.